I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta. Today on the show, we have the Elephant Queen herself, Eureka O'Hara. We talk about fake purses, Gumbo, and traveling the world. But first, do you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off.
Mom!
Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be very Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite fascinating people to sit on the couch and get very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who loves an expensive greeting card, but buys all of her own at Dollar Tree. But first, let's get into some things that are very Delta.
Go off, Delta!
I love getting a pedicure. I get a pedicure every 3 weeks. I used to do it every 2 weeks, but I felt like that was a little bit too much. I felt like my pedicure was still fresh, so I started to do every 3 weeks. And what I love about where I go, which is in Long Beach, California, is that my nail tech will allow me to come in at 8:45, even though they technically open at 9. And I always feel like something weird is also going on because I'll get there at 8:45 and sometimes it feels like there are people leaving, like their service has already finished. And I'm like, how long have you been here? Like, who's getting there that early? Honestly, even if it's like summertime, my feet are really cold at that time. And I want to wear like my chanclas, right? Like my slides. The shoes that I wear when I go get a pedicure are these orange Adidas slides. That's what I like to wear. And I always take my mom and she gets something special done. She has like the pedicure with the gel polish and she likes designs, freestyle designs. And the girl that does hers, oh my God. I actually wanted to ask the girl that does my mom's pedicure if I brought her in nails, if she could just put designs on them, like, and charge me what she charges me. I mean, you know. Angel does my nails. Jody Smiles does my nails. Like a lot of people do nails for me. And I like doing some of my own. Like, look at these little cuties. These are like a little more than an active length. These are sort of a squared off something. I like these. Little Dollar Tree special. I don't mind. I have space for all nails. However, when I go get a pedicure, the customers that go to a nail shop in a strip mall where there's like an Adriana's Insurance and a donut shop and a closed down pet grooming and then maybe a smoke shop. Like, that's the storyline of where I'm going. The customers in these nail salons are generally people who identify as women. So cis women are in there and they're, ready to get their active length, whatever done. And so they all look up. And so when I walk in, right, I have like, I don't know, shorts and a V-neck shirt and my orange slides. And I walk in looking with a bald head and my Buddy Holly glasses. A lot of times people are like, I wonder what he's getting done here, which I don't know why we are still at that point. Like, why we're not just comfortable going, oh, this is a person getting a pedicure because they're comfortable getting a pedicure because they want their feet to not have ingrown toenails because they can't, I don't know, reach their fucking feet because they want to, because they want to get their toes done cafe au lait for their fucking out calls. Maybe that's why they're there. It's none of your business. Anyway, I'm there, but they all look, right? And they're like, But the thing is, once I sit down in that chair, I'm one of those people too. I'm like, I wonder what that person's getting done. And I look over and then I look back up at the television and I can never understand why at the nail salon the televisions are turned on, but no one can hear them because the volume's completely down, and why it's either ESPN playing some old game, why is there ESPN Classic? Why is there who is watching old football games? I'm confused. If you can have, every time I go to a hotel, ESPN Classic, ESPN Mexico, ESPN Norway, ESPN Soccer, like it's all these ESPNs. Is everybody watching that much sports? And why has that filtered to the nail salon? I do think because the nail salon I go to, there is like a man who's the manager. He's real quiet, very bookish, but I see him looking up at the television. And sometimes I wonder, like, maybe the reason the volume is off is because it's in his Bluetooth. Maybe he's watching that show. Because the only thing on all the screens are ESPN and then like something like The Talk or The Chew or one of those shows where people gather around, and sometimes there's recipes and sometimes there's talking about current events. You know, one of those shows that I would be a really, really, really perfect host for? It's like those kind of shows. Maybe they drowned out the sound because they know no one wants to hear that fucking cackling. Maybe that's why. They want to look at it, but they don't want to hear it. Unless I was there. If I was there, maybe they would want to hear it because we would fry the small fish on one of those shows. And then if this was played in the nail salon, the volume would be up because people would want to hear it. But as it stands now, anytime I've ever gone into one of these strip mall nail salons, and I go to the same one over and over, but I've been to many in my life. So I've gone to some, and then after like a couple of years, the technician moves on somewhere and I don't know where they go. So then they move me to someone else and she ends up cutting me and I'm like, I can't go to her no more. And then I go to the next place. So the place I'm going now, I've been going for a while and I love it. They treat me great. But there's just so many little factors. Like when I'm done and I stand up, I have to sort of like figure out, am I walking around? Am I waiting in the car? Because there's not much of a waiting area. And my mom is still getting her shit done, right? Because she wants like whatever process that they're doing, the lotion and all that stuff. I don't want any of that. I like to go in. I want my shit clean, clipped up. I want them to clean underneath the nail, lift it up. I want her to take those clippings and set them on top of my foot. You know how they do that? To like show you like a cat. Like, look what I brought to you. And you're like, okay, I fucking see it. And then I want her to do the cuticles. I want her to buff my nails. I want her to put the clear coat on there. And then I will do my scraping and all that shit in the shower at home. I don't want any of that. I don't want that massage. Because let me ask you a question. What massage is this in the nail salon? Let me take this ring off. What massage is this? Say this is your this is the front of your leg. This is your shin. What massage is this? Why is that pleasurable? Let me hit where you have the least amount of fat and skin. Let me get my knuckles and bang against that. You know, I said this before and I proudly say it. I am a certified cosmetologist in the state of California, and I've held that cosmetology license since 1996. I can technically, legally, in the state of California, give a pedicure. I can give a manicure. I can give a set of acrylic nails. It's been a long time, so I don't know the whole process of gel and all of that stuff. But I understand that first and foremost, when you get a cosmetology license, your goal is to be as safe as possible. You don't go there to learn how to do great hair. You don't go to cosmetology school to learn. You just learn how to pass the state board. So I don't know who's passing the state board with this technique. But first of all, it's not pleasurable. And second of all, I mean, first do no harm, right? First do no harm. That seems so harmful. That's why I don't like any of it. So whenever they want to give massages, I'm like, I'm cool. Because I don't like people locking eyes with me and massaging like my foot or my ankle or whatever and just like staring at me like, you like it? You like it? Unless there's a happy ending, we're not doing any of that. Because I feel like awkward. Like, I don't know. Just something about it seems weird. I'm not trying to sexualize everything, but like when you're like looking at me with like this lip dripping down with like a little bit of gloss on it and you're going, you like it? I don't like it. It's really, really uncomfortable. I'm not seeing that. So I just rule it out. But I always find it interesting when there's like people in the nail shop who will have these conversations so loud that so everyone can hear them. And the two things I kind of don't get are those people that don't have any idea how loud they're being. And they like go on and on. What did you do for blah, 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 blah? and blah, 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 blah. And they're just so loud. It's like, I get that you're talking to your nail tech, but they're right there. They are right there. And they think that because their friend came in or they know somebody, they should scream across the salon. It's like, you don't have to do that. Like, you can just wait. You know what I mean? So I don't get them. And I also don't get the people that come in and go, the nail tech will say, did you choose a color? And they'll say, whatever you think. Whatever you think? I would never think to give ownership of the color of my nails to someone else. I feel like that's such a final frontier. Because if you ask me, oh, doll, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not really a waitress red from OPI nail polish. That's the color I'm putting on you. And they're like, oh, well, you told me to ask. It's like when people go to a bar and they say to a bartender, just make me whatever, surprise me. Don't do that. Don't ask the bartender to surprise you, because you're going to be very surprised when they're like, sure, I'll make you what I drink. A whiskey neat. A beer. Something that costs $27. You said surprise you, didn't you? So when you ask the nail tech, oh, I don't know, whatever you think. Baby, there is a far cry from a long, curved, square-tipped red acrylic nail with a tropical sunset on it and a tiny little oval nail with mauve nail polish. Like, there's a vast difference. So it's weird to me when somebody would be like, just put whatever you want. Oh, don't tell me that. I love nails. If you tell me whatever you think, doll, that's the final frontier in the nail shop, is you get to pick. You don't get to pick. You don't get to pick how hard they're going to massage, right? You just have to go, I'm enjoying that. Or when they put on the massage chair and you're going like this, oh, I really like it. Oh, it feels so good. You don't get to pick that. You don't get to pick when they're like, hey, move your leg this way. And you're like moving it like this. And all your muscles are like, I'm not prepared for this. But you do get to pick your color. And when somebody walks in and they go, whatever you think, I'm like, wow, you raw dog. You came up in here. You don't give a fuck. You really don't care? I think all nail techs out there, when someone says that, you should say, oh, okay, great. I'm going to give you my favorite. And you should fucking knock them out the park with a fucking set of nails like they've never seen before. And tell them, you said whatever I thought. And when I looked at you, I thought, you know what? When you go on your vacation to Lake Tahoe, people are going to love these lime green nails. Do you want to see me take a break? Because I think you want to see me take a break. Do you know what's very Delta? Factor. Factor makes eating better so easy with their delicious ready-to-eat meals. These meals only take 2 minutes to heat up and are perfect for my busy schedule. Not only is the food delicious, but I've saved so much money by using Factor. These meals are less expensive than takeout and are curated by chefs to be restaurant quality. With over 35 options to choose from every week, I find myself trying new things and discovering new food combinations that I absolutely love. This week I indulged in the cheesy chicken and broccoli casserole with brown jasmine rice, and let me tell you, the casserole is comfort food at its finest. A sprinkle of gooey cheese tops off this hearty meal and totally sends me every time I eat it. Head to factormeals.com/verydelta50 and use code verydelta50 to get 50% off. That's code verydelta50 at factormeals.com/verydelta50 to get 50% off. Today's guest has slayed the competition in several seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race and has traveled the country to positively impact others on the hit HBO show We're Here. It is the Elephant Queen herself, Eureka.
Yes, you found it. Woo, 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 woo.
I always want to say that. Like, whenever I'm like, I always want to say that. And then I'm like, is that tired? You know when people say taglines and you're like, is that tired? Or like,
no, it's never tired.
It's never tired.
Mama.
It's
because you found it.
Well, and you found us too.
Uh-huh.
That's what you've been doing since you've probably been doing it your whole life, but I've only known you since you were on your season of Drag Race, several seasons of Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
And you have not just been letting people find you, but you find people.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a go-getter because I feel like I live in such a state of hectic trauma and anxiety that like my anxiety fuels me to continuously move and have to be doing. And so like the busier I am, the more positively healthy of a position I'm in mentally, so it's like a stagnant and boredom only gets me in trouble because I
Right.
find something to do.
Right.
So I remember as a little kid, like I was just like, I would dream of being like the queer Chris Farley and the John Kendys and Goodmans and Queen Latifah and, dare I say it, she's canceled now, but Roseanne, I was inspired by those plus size comedic icons and
Right.
movies and TVs where my escape came from, living in a household that was very hectic and addiction ridden, but also like, I was super gay in East Tennessee and didn't have friends really and wet the bed till I was 13. So I didn't really go stay the night at kids' houses, honey. So I was watching movies,
Yeah.
preparing myself for stardom because one day the world will love me as I am.
Well, the world does love you as you are,
Thank God.
And I think you'll have it no other way.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's true, though. I met you, obviously saw you from behind the camera when you were on seasons of Drag Race. But when we worked together, I think the first time at Hamburger Mary's in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you really are and were then a person who is present in conversations with people.
Thanks.
You like to hear what people have going on. And that takes you far.
I love people because, I grew up with like not a lot of people that listened to me, but I had two really incredible women in my life, my mother and my grandmother, whom taught me what unconditional love was. The unconditional love they showed me, it reminded me like, that's what I want to give to others because I didn't have it very often. So like, I remember being ignored or not taken seriously. So I guess especially when I meet like fans and people that aren't like the stereotypically loved type person, like maybe they're not, societal beautiful or they're oversized or a person of color, all these different types of characteristics that cause them to not be taken seriously. I want to be present in the moment for them because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I've been given this platform where it's like, oh my God, Eureka's like listening to me and loves me and I love her and I look up to her. So it's like, I just take it really seriously.
Well, and it's important because, just as you said, when you talk about Queen Latifah or Roseanne or John Goodman, all of the people that meant, some of which are not with us anymore.
No.
And we now have this platform. There are people that are looking at those of us that do different aspects because you've traveled the world. You've worked a residency in Vegas. You've been on a hit award-winning show showcasing exactly what we're talking about. And that is that visibility for people.
What a dream job.
It's important.
Thank you.
It's important for people to see themselves in someone.
It was so important to do. We're here. It was like gaggy, to be honest, because it's like, I just remember dreaming and manifesting a job like that. And I do feel like I manifested this job because I remember after season 10, I would do these like emotional poems instead of music videos. And I would go online and I would talk about how to like, live in your positive spirit and, be yourself to free yourself and all these things. And I would be told by like different producer type people or people in the industry, like people don't want to see that in drag. They want to see you're funny, Eureka, make them laugh, But the truth is like there is such an emotional side to drag that created who I am. Like when it comes to drag family, when it comes to like honestly saving my life and giving me a reason to live sometimes. So it's just like always been really important for me to be that projection of drag.
Right.
So it was cool to like finally have a project that took that seriously.
Right.
And gave me a chance to do that.
Yeah.
And they paid for the clothes and I got to travel.
Right.
I got to feel like a superstar. I mean, HBO took such good care of me, like, and all three of us, like with our own wardrobe teams and makeup teams. And I mean, it was like the first time I really felt like, oh my God, I'm a fucking superstar.
Right.
Just the way they treated me on set.
Did you get to like participate in any of the like creative process for what you got to wear or wig styles or input?
We were fully consulting producers on the show for our projects. I designed all my performances with the help of our choreographer. Ordinary Brown is his name on Instagram. And he was so incredible to work with, but the storylines and stuff, and it was like me making mini talents for a pageant.
Sure.
You know, back in the day, I used to help all my drag kids create their talents
Right.
for pageants. And so that's what I did was I made these like little mini pageant talents, tell a story, you know, versed on their story. So, and I got to work hand in hand with Marco and Patrick Howell and Casey later on creating these garments and editing them to be, you know, push the norm for plus size girls on what we're supposed to wear.
Sure.
I'm like, honey, make me look naked, even though it's like all nude illusion and I'm in like 6 layers of clothes.
Right.
But I want to look like I'm wearing a G-string.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've always said that about you, and I think the world knows that. You know, we are put in these sort of pigeonholed into being wear what's flattering on
Right.
you. Wear what, and that's what they mean when they say that is what's comfortable for them to look at.
To see a caftan and a cupcake dress.
And
Yeah,
you,
sweetheart,
yeah, exactly. And you are someone who is, you know, you're tall, which is number one. I mean, that's already in itself,
It's helpful.
right? But you always know your proportion, and that's you working with some of the best people that go, hey, you know what? If we do this and we do that, we showcase you as the powerhouse you are.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
You know what I mean? And who's to say what a feminine height is, or what a masculine weight is, or any of those things.
Yes.
That's where it's beautiful to be in 2024 to be able to challenge those things and say, I'm living the way that I'm living.
Yeah.
I'm all of those things.
I know. Isn't it hard though sometimes?
Yeah, well, but especially for somebody in your position who's on a television show like that, where, you know what I mean?
Well, you were there first, you know, to be honest, like not to like distract from the conversation and make it all about me, because my favorite topic is me.
Isn't it for everybody?
But, you know, you were like, you're one of my all-time favorites from RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, you were one of the first plus-size girls. You were so beautiful, and honestly, I hate to say it, but like, I don't want to use the term fish because we've outdated that term, but you were so hyper feminine and gorgeous.
Thank you.
And you had a very stylish side to you where you also dressed like, you know, any of the skinny girls would dress. You know, you were flattering to your shape, but at the same time, you were like, no, I'm fashion forward, you know?
We all have a different viewpoint. You know what I mean? Like, whenever I see you in like your like bodysuit outfits, performance outfits. I think that's another thing. Like, because you are a high energy performer, that wardrobe, it just suits you, and the way it just cuts in and shows that what it does is it highlights.
Yeah.
It highlights these best features, and you know your line. God damn, you know.
Thank God. You know, and I'm blessed because Patrick Howell really taught me that. I think
a master.
Most. Yeah, and he's a master of costuming, and then also just pageants. You know, being in pageantry back in the day, I looked up to the girls in Continental Plus and USA at Large.
Oh my gosh!
And you know, those girls in evening gown were bodied. Now, when I first did drag, the first like 4 years or so, I didn't wear pads, and I would corset to death, but I was also a lot skinnier then, so I was always like proportionizing to a point, but you know, I was never I never fit in appropriately fully, it seemed, in the pageant world, because those were the little critiques I got. And so once I changed that, and especially once I got to Drag Race, I remember my drag mama being like, now bitch, remember, this is a TV pageant. And all those mistakes you made at the pageant, don't make them on international television or I'll kick your fucking ass. Her name's funny. Jacqueline St. James. She's still with us. She's an incredible icon, former USA at Large. So I owe a lot of that to her by her reminding me when you go, you know, because I would be lazy sometimes performing because it's more comfortable. She was like, you know, when you're the most uncomfortable and when you're snatched, you're at your best. Make sure you give them that because you'll be remembered for it. And she was not wrong.
Right.
She was not wrong.
I want to talk about some other stuff you've been working on, but let's take a quick break. Curious about how you can achieve smooth, natural-looking, long-lasting filler results? The Juvederm collection of fillers has 6 unique gel fillers that add subtle volume and are designed for different needs and specific areas of the face, like lips, cheeks, chin, smile lines, under eyes, and jawline. Ask your licensed specialist for a full face assessment today and download the Alley app. That's ALLE, the official loyalty program of Juvederm, to save on treatments and to get a look that's true to you. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you. Visit juvederm.com. That's juvederm.com. JUVEDERM.com. We are back with Eureka. We were talking about pageantry, and what excites me is about what your life is at this point is that not only have you traveled the world, been on the show, but you've also worked the Vegas show. You've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
In working all of those different things, is there like one that's a favorite, or are there any like crazy situations like?
I mean, I have been through it in one way or another, probably like with different things. My favorite would probably have been working on American Horror Story. It was so my dream moment. You know, working on set and acting has always been a dream.
Right.
But, you know, I was the co-star of the episode. So I was like riding in the van with Evan Peters and Francis and treated as such, and, you know, getting to know them and chat with them, but also see how they work.
Right.
You know, Evan is such a method actor. Like, he gets really into it. And he was also working on Dahmer at the time. So he just had this like really dark demeanor of him, which I found really interesting. But it was just so iconic to get to do that and get to do a death scene. And I love vampires. So that's probably been my favorite experience. And then, of course, rewarding wise was We're Here. You know, working on the Vegas Strip, doing Drag Race Live, the production of it and the size of the stage made me feel so glamorous and beautiful. And getting to create the This Is Me number, which I was able to cultivate originally. And, you know, we had issues with the skirt, so I was able to call in Marco, and I got to show that like musical theater background with the crew and be like, okay, this is how we can make the skirt work and make it grand. And so those were things that were really special to me to get to like help create, because I love producing and creating stuff. The craziest stuff, I've definitely lost luggage. I remember being on the Work the World tour and I lost my bags. Luckily, I had my makeup, and like 2 or 3 weeks, although I got into the biggest fight with Kimchi.
About
oh
what?
my God, I was so pissed at her because I went to her and I was like, do you have anything I could borrow? Like a stretch dress, anything? And this was when she was going through her era of like, I'm not a big girl.
Okay.
And so she was just like, Eureka, I don't have anything in your size. And I was just like, okay, that's delusional, because I was also at like a skinnier version of myself. And it was also just, I felt like hateful. You know, it's like, we're sisters, we're on tour together. And I got upset about it and was just like, okay, well, fuck you, girl, you know? And, you know, stormed off and did my thing. And I found this like roll of fabric backstage that I ended up having to host the show. So I just like rolled myself up in it and did that like old toga type gown dress thing. I did This Is Me and like rolled out of it into my panties, bitch, and did my hair removed with potato chips in it just to be extra for the crowd.
See, that's the theater training,
yes,
pageantry
you know,
training, professional drag show training.
Which
it really is.
It was. I ended up getting into a big fight with Bob the drag queen that night because Kimchi was upset that I was mad. So then Bob comes in there like trying to tell me like how wrong I am, and I was not in the mood. Bitch.
Wow.
So I'm just like, fuck you too. Get out of my dressing room. I hate you all. Rah, 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 rah. You know?
So now you hate all these people.
So I love them now, you know? But, and you know, me and Kimchi took a minute before we were like, okay again. But, you know, that's how sisters get into it on when we're traveling. But also we had a great time on that same tour. I remember we would play Uno all the time, and the girls would try to get me. This was after that because, of course, they're like, "Oh, Eureka's reactionary, so let's like pick at her as much as we can." So they would, there's the blank card. So Bob would like write on the blank card, "Draw 10 if your name rhymes with Eureka." So I would get so pissed. I would rip the card up, and then Jiggly's like, "You're ripping up my Uno cards. How dare you?" And I'm like, "Well, I quit playing. This is awful." But we would always play again, and it would just be, silly. I can't tell you how many times on that tour I almost missed the bus because I was like partying in an Amsterdam bar, like eating some guy's ass on the toilet. You know what I mean? Like,
were you going to the bathroom while you were eating his ass?
No, we were in the bathroom, and he just like, that's where we went to do it. We're in the stall. I had him fully standing on the toilet, so it was like great height, perfect access.
Where's the best trade when you travel? Where have you found the best?
Honestly, the best trade I've ever had traveling was probably like out of the country, like Amsterdam, especially. They love to party. I ended up like at some empty bar with a bunch of different, I don't know if they were from Amsterdanians, whatever you call them. I'm country, whatever. But they just thought I was the cutest thing in the world because I was country as a biscuit. They hadn't had anything nearly as John Wayne as me. And, I was John Wayne to them, honey, prancing around like a little sissy country boy. But, yeah, probably there. It was so wild how, one, they had this card that had like any drug you can imagine that you just like order like Uber Eats.
Oh, okay. What did you order?
I ordered ketamine at the time, and I don't believe in doing drugs without being safe. That's one thing. I've known so many people, honestly, especially in recovery now, to die of fentanyl overdoses and things like that. So, the thing is like, I don't want to sit here and be like, "Oh, party, have a good time, do your thing." Yes, do what you need to do. If you ever get to a point where it's a problem, which I've been to, when my mother and grandmother passed away, I got so bad over the Christmas season, and I had already been doing drugs just casually, that I did have to go to rehab. It got to a point where it was like physically and mentally, I was dependent on drugs. I don't promote drugs, but I do promote safe partying, if you're going to do it, because we live in a world with queer people and in the party world where we work, we work in an environment where it's happening all around us, regardless.
Right.
There's nothing we can do about it. We can try to ostracize and beat people down for it. But honestly, the more you tell people no, the more they want to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm hoping that now with my recovery and with where I'm at in my life and my experiences, I can continue to be that type of spokesperson for drug use and recovery.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to do it safely. Don't drive drunk.
I don't mind if you kids drink or do drugs as long as no one's driving.
Just don't drive. Yes.
Just don't drive.
And honestly, test your drugs. If you don't know the people that you're working with and you trust them, or, even in that case, testing kits are free at your local LGBT center, at your local recovery centers. They will literally hand them out for free.
Yeah.
And in that case, test your shit. Make sure that you're safe.
You have always been honest about everything. Anyone that follows you knew about your raw honesty about moving to California, about watching your mom pass, watching all of that. And it's important because a lot of us have close relationships with our parents, and we don't know, like I have a close relationship with my mom, and we don't know how long that's going to be, when it's going to be taken away. And so I will say in all honesty, watching you go through that and share with people the days that were really great and the days that were not great. And then when the finality of it happened, helps people understand when the time comes for the rest of us, we've witnessed someone that we love go through it.
Thank you so much.
And it is something. I don't want to belittle it by saying it's a handbook, but it is a way to go. There are people that will see a brighter day on the other side of it. There are brighter days coming, and you have claimed that for yourself.
I appreciate that, and it took a while for it to be brighter, though. That's just the reality of it. I get a little teary-eyed just hearing you talk about it. because I loved my mom. I love her now.
Of course.
You know, it is hard, but it was so therapeutic to be able to talk openly. And I got so much shit for it, but I didn't care. Because it also, like, you know, I was working so much because I had hired my sister to move in with my mom to take care of her, because my mother, one thing that she requested was never put me in a home. You know,
Right, my mom
she would
says the same
rather
thing.
go than be put in a home. So I was lucky enough to be traveling and working, but I wasn't able to be there. So for me, you know, being online and talking to her kind of through that, and talking about her journey, and documenting everywhere I was going and what I was doing, she was watching it, you know, nonstop and getting her whole life. And everywhere I went, I always bought 2 magnets, one for my fridge and one for hers. So that, like, she felt like she was going to these places too. You know, that was my biggest dream, was to get to, she wanted to travel. She wanted to go back home to Germany. You know, I'm first generation. So she never got to go home since she came to America at 19. You know, so she never got to go back to her home country, which was one of her biggest dreams. And I still have not gotten to go to Germany.
Oh, you know you will, though.
And I will. And I'm, you know, this is my call out, because that's, you
Yeah.
know, one thing I want to do is I would love to take her ashes back to Germany one day. You know, they're in my home now in her purple urn. She did not want to be buried. She was like, don't waste the space, honey, you know, and that was one of her other requests too, is she wanted to go back home.
Right.
So
I
yeah,
love
so that's a
that.
goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, bitch, I mean, on top of that, I mean, going to Germany, I've never been to Germany, but all I ever think about is pretzels. And all the food sounds so good. When you travel, do you have like favorite places where you've had great food, or places where you know you can tell me right now you're not going to find something to eat?
You know, honestly, in the UK, breakfast is the only good option to eat.
I like breakfast in the UK.
Okay.
I do.
Breakfast
and I like
in
all
the
those
UK
sandwiches
is
in
yummy.
the freezer or refrigerator case. They always have interesting
Yeah,
little
they
sandwiches.
do have good little sandwiches. I think that's where in the UK, you're safe with sandwiches and breakfast.
Okay.
Any other meals, it's just very bland.
Okay.
It's crazy because they conquered the world for spices, but don't use any of them.
I never
You know
thought
what
of
I'm
that.
saying?
You know what? I have to go back to this just because, I mean, I love American Horror Story so much, and I'm just a fan of the seasons. And I remember it was a very well-kept secret that you were going to be on the show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a well-kept secret how many of us auditioned to be on that and didn't tell one another until
I was seen
until we
doing
were on,
it.
and we were like, I fucking auditioned. And everyone was like, did you submit a tape? Did you do it? And everyone, like, I still have on my phone, I think, my fucking audition. And I remember thinking because I'm not really somebody who
please share your
puts
crystal decanter.
herself out for
I
it.
should have called that. I should have said, girls, everyone share your crystal decanters.
But you know what's sickening is when you do see someone you know who really, really wants something, and the cream rises to the top, you can't help but be happy for somebody, because you'd rather see it go to somebody, and you know, God bless everybody out there, but you'd rather see it go to somebody that you're like, bitch, that's a queen. That's a queen who fucking does shows, who fucking knows how to put themselves together. Whether or not somebody's putting you together for a project, you still know how to put yourself together.
Well, I had to put myself fully together for that.
Yeah.
They did not have a team for me for that. But I remember I was just so excited I didn't care, honey. I said, this is all the stuff I got in my wardrobe.
It was
I
sickening.
remember when I did the audition, I got in full drag in my apartment.
It's sick.
In my little 1-bedroom apartment I was in at the time. And that's why now my dream is to pursue acting more now than ever. You know, I've always been like, you know, oh, do the tours, I'm writing, and I'm working on these other projects too. But now it's like, no, I'm going to put the hard work it takes into like becoming an actress, even outside of drag. I want to be a trans actress, you know? I'm actually auditioning for a male role coming up too. Because I want to act even out of drag. You know, my dream role is I have a project I've been working on that's around Divine's life, and it's around Glenn's life. So it's really based around Glenn Milstead, whom is the human being behind the drag queen of Divine. And I want to play that role. So I want to like go ahead and put the footwork in of being willing to play male and female roles, so that when it comes and that project gets the legs that it's working on getting, you know, it will happen when the time is right. But, you know, it's in the acting world, you do have to put in in the footwork.
Right.
It doesn't just come until you're doing the work, and then that's how you get seen, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So I'm manifesting that right now because that's what I want to do with my career. I never won the Drag Race crown because I'm waiting on the Oscar.
Yeah. I love that.
Is my goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're not afraid of hard work. Let's take a break. We are back with Eureka. Now, this is the part of the show that we call Read Me Delta. So people send in questions. You know the tea.
Read me Delta!
Oh, she got a letter opener and everything.
Girl, you know how I got to do it? Because these nails will probably pop off. The glue isn't that strong. All right.
Well, thank God take care of them cuticles,
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Delta and glamorous guest, I've always wondered if you have a strong preference for a certain type of dinnerware. Do you prefer your bowls deep or shallow? Plates with a rim or without? What about at a cookout? Waxed paper plates, styrofoam, or just a rock with a napkin? What do the dishes at a very Delta dinner party look like? I won't eat salad or pasta unless it's served in a bowl, and I was wondering if that makes me some kind of psychopath, or does it just make me very Krista? Do you have a certain kind of dishes that you like to eat off of?
Bowl, and a big spoon, period.
Right.
And that's for almost anything. I like a spoon. I want a big mouthful of food. I don't want a fork where the shit's falling off.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use a fork for a salad until it gets to the bottom. Then I want a spoon.
Okay.
With the mouth this size, honey, just give me a serving spoon.
Now, will you ever eat like with a spoon, and then if it's like you're not able to pick it up, will you use your finger, or do you like to use a piece of bread or tortilla?
I'll do
chip?
bread. I'll do tortilla, but girl, I go straight back to like motherland living, honey, and will use my fingers. I am not afraid.
I will
slurp up. I'm a disgusting eater. If I'm at dinner and I'm on a date, then I try to be dainty, and act like a lady until I get comfortable. And then I'm like, okay, I feel like we've gotten to a comfortable place. And if we're going to make this last, you're going to have to see me like scoop up this last little bit with a piece of bread and like shove it into my mouth.
What would you wear on a dinner date?
I would wear something like this. I like to be exciting, cute. I might wear hair. I had a hair transplant recently, so I've been trying to take really good care of it. So I haven't been wearing wigs whenever I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm kind of like into the little G.I. Jane thing right now. So I'm gonna look cute for sure, because I want them to be like, "Ooh, I want a piece."
Are there certain types of restaurants you would or would not want to go to on like a first date?
I don't want to go to anywhere with bar food or like TVs.
Okay.
I don't want it to be loud. I want to be able to have conversations.
Mm-hmm. Don't
take me to a diner the first date. Unless this first date is after we've been out and had drinks and we're going to eat. Like if the date's like, oh, we go to a show and then we're eating late. Okay, a diner makes sense.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, but if it's a dinner date, make it nice. It doesn't have to be, I'm not asking you to take me to Nobu.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be 5-star next level. I'm not asking for Spigo, but like I could do a La Boheme here in LA. Something nice where it's like a little candlelit. Take me to
Have you tried a Del Taco?
I don't know about a Del Taco for
Del
the first
Taco?
date. But honestly, no, I have had first dates at like Taco Bell before.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, girl, honestly, I'm going to be real. If a man's paying for my dinner, I'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
But if I'm paying, it's going to be decent. But also, I just don't like to pay anymore. At this point, I want someone that can come with their own. If I'm going into a date where it's like, oh, I can't afford it, then we're not going on a date. At least go Dutch. I'm also very comfortable in that way, but for a first date, I'm not paying. I had so many years where I played the boy, and the daddy, if you will, where it's like I was the one that was the aggressor of asking out and, paying for the date and the dinner and the drinks. So I want to be wine and dine to myself. I want to be treated like a lady.
You know what you want.
Yeah, I just want someone that wants to order sushi and then go watch Netflix and maybe play with each other.
I like that.
You know
what you want.
That's my dream date.
My dream is to be able to use all the different sets of dishes that I have for seasonal meals. So
Okay, yeah.
I have regular dishes for throughout the year.
Are you
and-
talking about for cooking at home?
Yes.
I love to cook at home too. Go
Oh,
ahead.
see, I'm not a good cook at home at
No?
all. No, not at all. But I do like having dishes. So I like having Christmas dishes.
Okay, yeah.
I like having Halloween dishes.
These are for decoration, though. is
They're
what
for
you're saying.
decoration, or we can eat off of them. I'm just not cooking the food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your husband does the cooking.
He does all the cooking. Yeah.
Davey, yeah.
Davey does all the cooking.
Wow.
I can, but I get frustrated. Because I'm the type of person that when I start a recipe, I'm like, I'll start making it and I'm like, I think that needs a little bit more of this. And then, or I like to start cooking something without all the shit there. And I'm like, I got to go to the store for half and half. I've got to go do. I do know how to cook. It gets irritating. And honestly, at this point, they say, remember when they used to say, it's cheaper to just eat at home. At this point, everything is so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's whether you eat out or eat at home, it's going to be the same goddamn price.
It's the same as long as you're not Uber Eating.
Oh,
I
am with you.
As long as you're not having someone go pick it up for you. Girl, it's so expensive.
There's a fee, girl, for every little thing.
And where I live right around here near Universal. And I guess because it's like theme park area too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, girl, Taco Bell's tacos are like $10 a piece.
Yeah.
Especially late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, by the time I get like a couple double stacks, a crunch wrap, a burrito, and a, sugar-free Mountain Dew Baja Blast, which is my order, by the way, and a side of spicy ranch.
I love people that know their order.
Bitch, that's what I want. And then it's $100?
Right.
And then you go through the fee list and you're like a $3 surcharge, a $2 this fee, a tip, a $19.99, delivery fee.
Baby, I'd rather just go to a restaurant and sit down.
I'm like, what the hell? Yes, take me to Spago.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Spago, by the way?
I have not. Never.
Don't do it.
No.
It's so expensive. Unless you get a chance to go on someone else's dime, it is an experience.
Okay.
Or unless you're just that rich. Girl, if y'all got money to waste, and I say waste, honestly, not loosely. I mean it. If you've got money to waste and you're ready to go to Taco Bell 2 hours later because it didn't fill you up.
Oh, it's not worth it then.
Go to Spago but it is an experience. Now, girl, it's an experience.
What makes it an experience?
Because it's fine dining, so they present it and it's on these like little creative plates and it's supposed to be the highest grade food. And it's definitely an experience for people that just have money to blow or they're trying to impress like business type people. But I did the taster menu and it's interesting. The food's good. But girl, they brought
tell me.
They brought out, they come out, they give you this whole spiel about how the cows are played violins too, and so that there's no hormones, and they're not under
they better quit.
They're not under any stress. So
but we butchered them and ate them.
And they're killed humanely where they don't know they're dying, so there's no fear when they die, because that's a thing.
How do you kill humanely? Like, we're still killing them.
You shoot them in the back of the head so they don't know, I think. You know what I mean? That's what I'm assuming.
That's gaslighting cows.
Okay. So after the gaslighting of the cow, they come out and there's this plate and it's got these grooves in it, like it's one of those like, Mr. Miyagi scenes from Karate Kid, and there's a rock. And on this rock, there is this tiny little cube of steak. The tiniest little bite, and they sell it. They're like,
you can taste the violins.
They're like there's been no stress or physical activity, so the fat is engraved through the meat, so it's the juiciest, delicious. And girl, you eat it, and it does melt in your mouth, but it's like it's a piece of gristle that you don't have to chew. Is what it tastes like.
But a mallet does the same thing. Like, girl, if you just marinate the shit out of it.
They brought it out on a sand sculpted plate with a rock, bitch. And it was one little cube, and they brought me a full-sized fork.
Who paid for this?
And luckily it was okay. So the manager invited me and Raj O'Hara, and the only thing we had to do was pay the tip. So I was like, okay, that's worth it. Girl, we got the bill. And there's a couple cocktails, whatever. Girl, this was a $2,000 meal.
$2,000.
Bitch, I was mad.
Food?
I said, how much is the tip? Bitch, I looked, I said, $400. tip. I was expecting, because he was like, I want to treat y'all. I've got you. I'm the manager, blah, blah. Oh my God. I'm never going to be invited back to Spago, by the way.
Fuck your violins and
Bitch,
fuck
I
you.
was dying. Girl, I was so mad. I was like, girl, the salad's this big.
This sounds like a cock tease
Bitch,
to
and
me
when
because I want to eat.
we left, and I said, girl, can we go to Norm's?
See, but what are you getting at? But what are you getting at Norm's? Because when I go to Norm's, I like to get the gumbo soup. I like their gumbo.
Mama.
Girl, and the tip at Norm's is a little more doable, I think.
Oh my gosh, it's so
I can do a little more.
The tip is doable.
I don't want to do
I
four.
want the country fried steak and gravy. I want their eggs.
Good.
It's like a Waffle House, but better.
Oh, I say I've never been to Waffle House.
Have you never been to a Waffle House?
Mm-mm.
Well, we call it Awful Waffle back where I'm from because it will give you the poos.
Okay.
But it's
I'm
yummy.
prone to that.
Oh my God, me too. If I eat, I poop. It don't matter.
Right.
I'm regular.
Right. Let's do another letter.
I love letters. Yeah. I'm kind of curious what other crazy questions going to be asked.
I'm fascinated that we both know about this gumbo because I bring it up to other people and they're like, what are you talking about?
Girl, because they're skinny.
They don't understand how important gumbo is.
Because they're on Ozempic. They can't eat.
They can't eat.
They can't eat.
Dear Delta and special guest, my pet peeve is a server repeatedly asking, how is everything? And trying to make personal connection. I prefer to enjoy my meal in silence or in conversation with my date.
No.
Is there a polite and efficient way to put up our boundaries with a server? I tip well and would pay extra for a minimal conversation. Please advise. Sincerely, AV. I feel the
exact same way.
You're the same way?
Oh my God. I do not want to be your friend.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I did not come here for your critique on my outfit or the things that you might like or what you've been doing that day or how you feel. I know that's terrible. Mm-hmm. And I will entertain it. I will.
Hey, you know what you like. I mean, you go to a restaurant, everyone wants a certain experience.
I do like them friendly. Don't get me wrong. But I think that there's too much that can happen. I hate it when people start complaining about the horrible day they've had or their daughter's sick or they don't get paid enough, things like that. That's hard for me because I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling guilt tripped into, I'm being manipulated to make sure that I tip you well, which I would have if you just made sure that I had a drink when my glass was empty.
Right.
And gave me as much Parmesan as I want.
Right.
Also, don't ask me if I want you to stop until I tell you to stop.
Right.
Like, is that enough? Now I feel obligated to be like, oh, I'm a fat beast that loves cheese and I should stop, I guess, because you're telling me I should stop.
But I'm not going to.
I was at a place and they were like, he says, oh my gosh, if this ain't the best pizza in the whole world, then I'll give you half off. But if it is the best, charging you triple. You know what I mean?
Like trying to be cutesy.
Yeah, trying to be cute and funny. Or they're like, oh my God, if you don't try, you need to try this. It's the best sauce. We've done it for 17 hours. You don't need ranch or anything. Don't give me that because now I feel too guilty to ask for the ranch I wanted.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I have to sit here and eat your food and eat this pizza without ranch, in which I love to eat my pizza with.
A lot of people love it that way. So
now you tell me.
No, I just say, I see what you're 100% hold space for what you're saying and what AV is saying. I think your best solution to this is to, when you go to the host stand or whatever, and they say how many people, you say, it's going to be 2 of us or whatever. And then you just say to them politely, we are going to be having some really private conversation. We kind of just want, if possible, you let the server know. And I think the server would love knowing that for the most part.
I think so too. That makes sense. That's great advice.
I personally, I love, all I need is efficiency. All I need. And I like to tip for it. I really do.
I will tip you for it.
I know that I'm a beast who's going to drink a lot of iced tea. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to ask for a water. I know that if I make something special to the menu or whatever, I'm one of those people that my nerves and my anxiety, I start to lose it when we order an appetizer. And then they go, oh, the salads will be out in a second. And it starts to take a while. And I realize they're bringing everything at once.
And I want the salad first.
I need to have it regimented, just like you.
I need the salad first.
Don't put all that food.
Please do not put my entree, my appetizers, and my salad. I did not order this $20 spinach dip. Excuse me, I just spit.
I don't care because it's serious. That spinach
Do not
dip.
bring me
Spinach dip.
my $20 spinach dip.
Listen, spinach dip.
Don't you fucking do it. If you bring me my $20 spinach dip before my tri-tip,
Come on.
oh my gosh.
See, I'm
Don't
with
do
you.
it to me. I've been a server. Actually, I want to make sure I add this in. I'm not just shaming servers. I'm sure there's people out there that are going to be like, oh my God, y'all are awful. You don't know how hard it is to be a waitress or a server. Maybe I've done it.
Mhm.
And honey, I was fat, overweight, and I would sweat to death. But I promise you, I made so many tips because I would twirl around that place sweating, refilling drinks immediately, not making crazy conversation, just being polite, making sure that people have the sauces they need. Girl, also, if don't tell me, oh, I've been here for 20 years and you don't know how to serve me appropriately.
Right.
What have you been doing for 20 years?
Right.
If you see my ranch cup is empty and I'm big as I am and I still have 3/4 of a pizza left, bitch, bring me more ranch before I have to ask.
Right. Right.
You know?
No, I do. I feel like efficiency is important. I definitely love trivial conversation. I'm great with it, but I feel like a good server can kind of just tell. I
Yeah.
feel like a good server can look and go, these ones don't want to talk. Because I go a couple places where I have servers that I just love their chit chat. It's great. But people got to take a little bit of a nod when they go, these people don't want to talk.
Well, you're afraid to just ignore them because then they just won't come back.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you never want an offended server.
Right.
If you get an offended server, oh baby, you're
right.
gonna have to go back there and pour that drink yourself.
Are you the same? Like, I don't understand when somebody can see that there's like this much ice and they're like, oh, did you want me to top that off? And then they pour from something that has no ice in it. What are you doing? Why would I want iced tea that's room temperature tea? Bring me
Mama,
a cup of ice.
I didn't say I wanted tea. I said I want iced tea.
So now you're gonna have to go get me a cup of ice. And I'm not trying to like demand. I'm just saying like this makes the most sense.
I know.
It makes the most sense.
And don't make me literally as loud as I can to try to hint after I've already asked. And then I have to ask another server.
How did I had no idea that we had these same feelings.
Because, I think that we're just being honest where other people
We're
won't
just
be.
being fat.
I wasn't going to say it.
But you know what I mean?
Because I don't know how you identify.
Fat.
Okay, good.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm fat as fuck. One of my least favorite moments, and I am proud of the few name brand items that I have because they cost a lot of money, and they're literally probably a couple of the few things that I have to that represent the hard work of my career.
Okay.
Besides a broken arm and a busted knee. You know what I mean? I have like a couple Gucci bags,
Okay.
and a Gucci wallet, like my favorite brand stuff. And I was at a restaurant and I had my like little special edition Gucci bag with me. I was pretty, feeling myself this night. And girl, the waitress was like, oh my God, I absolutely love this bag. It looks just like a real Gucci. Mama, I was so distraught. And then she laughed like we were best friends.
she did not come to you like
She
that.
came, and my friend kikied. And they're like, ooh, she clocked you. So then all of a sudden the whole table thinks I have a fake bag. I was so mad. I said, bitch, where do you get a fake bag this good quality, first of all?
Right.
Because if they got them, I'm going to go buy some more. But I spent a lot of money on that
Right.
bag. I spent over $2,000 on this bag.
Damn.
Yes, I could have bought myself a Kia
And
with
you
this
could have,
bag.
for a $2,000 bag, you could have had a $400 tip in there for her.
Girl, you know what I
She-
could have had? I would have tipped her down.
You could have gone into that person and said, hold on, let me get your tip. It's right here.
Oh, yeah.
There you
No,
go. You want
bitch,
more?
when I
Is
tell
one
you,
enough?
when I tell you, I paid her desk the rest of the time, and the whole time she was doing everything in her power to
Bring
make-
me what I asked.
She was telling me, "Oh my God, you're gorgeous. I love
already
you."
know.
She wouldn't leave me alone the rest of the time I was there,
I already
and
know.
I was so mad. I didn't
Me
pay her. I
too.
paid her dust. I said, "How dare you?"
One
I even
tip,
said to her,
2 tips.
I said, "Girl, how dare you? This is not fake." And she said, I said, bitch.
Girl, she doubled down on you.
Oh, mama, she got me. This was at one of them mom and pop casinos in Vegas, though. And she looked like she might have been on meth. So.
Well, you know what? Wherever you are, you heard it here. It's a real fucking purse.
Actually, I remember her name, Trish. I'll never
Trish,
forget.
it's a real purse.
Trish. Trish at the Rainbow Casino and Grill in Vegas.
Oh, well.
I'm just going to say it. I remember. And honestly, I hope you got fired.
And if not, we're going to get this.
Oh, baby.
Thank
You're
you.
fired now.
Thank you for sharing that with Trish.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if her name's Trish, so I hope some poor lady that works.
Oh, God. It might not be Trish. It might be Tracy. It might be.
It might have been
Trishelle.
Tracy. It was a girl name. It started with a T.
You know what? Listen, Trash.
So listen, Rainbow, y'all.
We're talking to you, Trash.
Don't fire the little old lady named Trish that's been there for 40 years.
We're getting in trouble. We're ending this right now. Thank you for being here.
Yes,
We're gonna get this bitch fired. She's not gonna be able to buy her kid a bike at fucking. Oh my God,
girl, her kid's already got a trike.
Thank you so much for listening and watching Very Delta. Yes. Our show comes out every Monday. Subscribe to Mom Podcast YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. Search for Very Delta on your favorite podcast apps to listen to the audio-only version if you can't handle all of this beauty in the visual format. You can also sign up for our premium offerings on Mom Plus Gold by visiting mompodcast.plus, where you get weekly episodes of more Very Delta. Oh. Don't forget to send all of your questions to readmedelta@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at DeltaWork. And where can people find you on social media?
Y'all can find me at Eureka O'Hara. It's everywhere. It's the same everywhere. Yeah.
And there's no fake bag there. So if you see a girl with a fake bag, it's not this girl.
If you see me carrying my blue limited edition Gucci bag, it is real, bitch.
If you see me and you're trying to see what's up.
Yes, honey. It's so real. Girl, I lost a lot to get this bag.
My bags are fake. I do have fake bags. But
I have a couple fake Kate Spades, but no Gucci.
Why would you go and get a fake Kate Spade bag when they're $48? I'm sick of you.
All I had was 22.
We'll see you next week. And until then, keep things very Delta.
Yes.
Go off, Delta!
Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, a.k.a. Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Margot Padilla, with original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cold. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions. Oh, she said she likes lemons more than limes?
Well, honestly, fuck a lemon and a lime.
Right. I said I wanted a fucking orange.
I want apricots, bitch.
Mom!
To listen to Very Delta ad-free, 1 day early, and to get access to more Very Delta and all of Mom Podcast's premium content, check out Mom Plus Gold at mompodcast.plus.